Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy. And today we're going to look at the AT-ST. And this toy is from the Micro Machines Action Fleet Collection. So let's take this little guy over to the toy studio and take a closer look at him. Come on. Alright guys, here we are today in the toy studio with a toy from the Star Wars Micro Machines Action Fleet Collection. And this is an AT-ST, all-terrain scout transport. And these guys, of course, appeared very briefly in the Empire Strikes Back, in the Battle of Hoth. They are there. You have to look very closely, but you can see them walking across the snow. And, of course, they're prominently profiled in Return of the Jedi on the Battle of Endor. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with Micro Machines, this toy line specifically, it came out into the mid to late 90s. And Micro Machines is a toy line that makes very small ships and figures. And there's two basic kinds. You can get the very, very small ones. They're about an inch and a half in size. And then they make a medium-sized version, which is what you're looking at here. It's about 3 or 4 inches tall. And to put it into scale and context, I have a 3 3/4 inch Stormtrooper here. And so you can see the size of this vehicle. I know sometimes on camera it's a little difficult to get the scale of things. But let's go ahead and spin it around, take a look at it here. And it does do has some little functions here, and we'll go through those. And of course, as you can see, it comes on a little display stand. And most of the Action Fleet collection, when you would buy them, they came with little display stands. And because this isn't a ship, it's not really a stand that plugs into the back. It's just a little base, a little textured base. And all you do is you just pull up on him, straight up. And the feet kind of lock in there. They're not in there super tight, but they do snap out. And I think this thing will stand on its own here. There we go. So it does stand without the stand. And so we'll take a look at him here in a second. But let's real quick look at the stand. And you can see it has outlines of the feet and little tiny pegs at the bottom snap into. It does snap in there. It's just not a real tight fit. And you can see it just has almost like a lava type ground texture to it. And then you have the toy line logo on there, Action Fleet. Very basic, very simple little stand. And as I showed you, you can stand it without the display stand. Okay, so here he is, a little bit closer up. And you can see it does have head movement and everything. We'll run through all that. So real quick here, the head does rotate, but you're not going to get a full rotation out of it, because eventually the bottom part, or where the chin would be, I guess, it starts rubbing into the body, so that's about as far as it turns. Okay, so if we take a closer look at the head here, you'll see you have the main blaster cannon, and it does have a little bit of movement to it, not a lot. That's about all you get. And then you have the grenade launcher and cannons on the side, and they do rotate. So you can spin them around. And both of them do rotate. Okay, so then you do have leg movement on it. So the only place it moves on the leg is right here where it's attached to the main body. What would be the knee or the ankle joint of this guy, they're locked in a position. They don't move. So the only movement you really get is you can spin it here about where the hip joint would be. And there on the bottom, if you look at the bottom of the feet, you can see where it clicks into the stand as well. So you do have leg movement. So you can adjust the body position a little bit. You know, if you need to look down to shoot somebody or look up. So if we look even closer at the top of the head here, this little compartment actually opens. So there's no lever or button or anything, which you just kind of grab it with your fingers and you, excuse me, pull it open here. And if you look inside there, we have an AT-ST pilot, and he comes right out. And this is one of the reasons I enjoy this toy line so much, is because I think it's so cool how they have these little tiny action figures in here. And this guy's probably a little over an inch tall. And you can see, for the size of the figure, I think they have pretty impressive detail on there. And just again, real quick for scale purposes, here you can see the difference in a regular figure versus the Micro Machines figure. And he does have movements here, and we'll run down those real quick. So he moves at the shoulders, and his arms are one piece. So when you move one arm, you're going to move both of them. And then he has hip movement, so you can bend him at the hip and put him in the seated position. And just like his arms, his legs are one solid piece. So when you move one, you're moving both of them. But there he is. And then if you real quick here, see if it's bright enough with the, you can see what's inside. There's a little tiny control panel where he drives it, and there's a seat in there. Well, it's pretty simple and basic stuff on the inside. And so then what you're going to do is put him back in the seated position, and he snaps right in there, no problem. And then you're going to close him up. Very cool. All right, so the other thing about this toy line, when you buy them, they come with a couple extra figures, anywhere from 2 to 5, depending on which one you buy. And the AT-ST comes with 2. So what you get when you purchase the AT-STs, you will get an extra Stormtrooper figure. And he can go into the driver's compartment as well. But he is very tiny, just like his friend. And he does have movement. So he's built the exact same way. You move one arm, you're moving both. Same thing with the legs. As you can see, it's attached at the feet. They're attached together. So you move one leg, you are moving both of them. And again, I just have to say I'm impressed with the amount of detail they were able to get into a figure this small. It's one of the reasons I enjoy this toy line so much. I know they're very small, but I think they put a lot of care into the production of these toys. I know most of these things are mass produced, and sometimes the quality can suffer, but I don't feel like that's the case with these toys. So what we're going to do is go ahead and snap his feet back into position here. And they don't click or anything. You just kind of got to press down, and he will stick to the stand. All right. Very cool. And another nice detail about this thing, if you look here, if you remember in the movies, the eyes are the ports where the drivers look out. It's just a flap that opens up, so it's kind of hard to see on camera. But these are actually holes cut into the body, so you can actually see into it. Maybe it'll help if we open the top a little bit. But there you can actually see the inside of the compartment through the eyes. So I just think that's not nice attention to detail. They didn't just put a little black mark on there. All right, guys. That's about it for this fella. But there he is from the Star Wars Micro Machines Action Fleet Collection. This is the Imperial AT-ST with driver and stormtrooper. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it.